Hi, it's time for good energy, and I'm Dr. Julie. And today is Bodyful Day 55. We're working on smell. And the question we're going to look at today is, can sweat smell sweet? All right. If you have a prop today. If you are sheltering in place with a family member or somebody else, piece of their clothing that they've worn. All right. Let's go ahead and take our deep breaths in. Deep breath in. And release. Breathe all the way from down in the bottom of those ribs and into the back, all the way up to the top of the shoulders. Deep breath in. And release. Think about any garbage you got going on. Think about where it might be hiding. Take a deep breath in. And release. Kind of feeling it a little bit low in my gut. All right. So today is day 55. Whoa. And we're talking about sense of smell. But specifically, we're talking about sweat. It is the beginning of May. Things are starting to heat up in southeast Iowa, though we apparently have a polar vortex right now, so it's a little cooler than normal. And so sweat is something that's going to be happening. Now, if you are staying at home, you may not be grabbing your deodorant as frequently as you normally would, because there's less need to impress, less need to smell lovely. But just to give you a heads up, in 2019, the world antiperspirant deodorant market was $74.5 billion. So there is a lot of money invested in smelling sweet. Now, we could go into the complications of smelling sweet, the fact that antiperspirants block sweat from getting on the skin, because once sweat is on the skin, the bacteria on your skin are what actually makes you smell. It's not the stuff coming out of your body. It's how your skin microbiome actually consumes and reacts to it that actually makes you stink. So today we're going to talk about something a little different. We're going to talk about the fact that the human nose can smell, actually any animal, can smell more than just normal scents. We can smell pheromones. Pheromones are behavior altering chemicals. And what we know is that back in the 80s, with the early 80s research, they looked at women menstrual cycles, and they noticed that women who are in the same place together have a tendency to cycle. And so they actually did research. I love telling this story in my sensation and perception class. They had women wipe their armpits for a month, and then had female volunteers come in and rub a little bit of that pad with the sweat on their armpits underneath their nose every day. And what they found out was that women who were nowhere near the original subject started cycling with them because of the chemicals that were in her sweat. All right, so pheromones are behavior altering chemicals. Now, we also know that there are the smell of fear, even though we talk about it in sort of a very bland, blah thing. The smell of fear is actually pheromone production altering behavior. There is stress, so we can always smell when there's a test, walking into a room that's had a test or it had something stressful in it. The room just doesn't smell. Even if it's not a smell, it's a sense that it just doesn't feel right. Well, one of the interesting things is that if you are not wearing something that taps into the $74.5 billion industry of body scent, if you're not wearing that, the pheromones that you put off will attract a mate who is genetically appropriate for you. Now, we're not going to talk about emotionally and stuff, but genetically, your genetics would create a very good offspring. And so what's interesting is that the pheromones that come off in the clothing of your partner are pheromones, as long as they're not covered in, deodorant. The smell of your partner's clothing should actually be very soothing. And in fact, you kind of see this in one of in the show Monk. Monk had his wife's pillow sealed up, and every once in a while he would open the pillow and he would smell the pillow so that he could get her scent. In addition to the scent, there was also that pheromone component. So what's interesting is that without scent, without the additional scent, the pheromones that each of us produces are pheromones that are designed to guide us to our appropriate genetic match. And so one of the things you can do is you can check and see if whoever you're sheltering in place with, if their clothing smells sweet. Does it smell okay? And that is just a fun way of getting you out of your head and back into your body. So one of the things we can think about is just the fact that there are these little chemicals that are released into the air around us that can alter our behavior, but also alter the behavior of those around us. And so, as a silly game, you could just go grab a piece of clothing and see if that makes you feel better or it makes you feel worse. Just to note that if you did attract a mate and they were wearing a lot of scent, like they totally Axe body sprayed up, then you're not going to get their pheromones. And so it might have an effect on genetic match. Won't have an effect on personality match because that's different. But the scent of smell and how pheromones can make sweat smell sweet. All right. I hope you're having a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Take care.